Okay. Yeah. No, come further out if you want. Don't hide behind the chair. Okay. Okay. Is everyone feeling okay apart from a few stiffness from boot camp? Yeah? Oh, how are you feeling? Good. Good. As long as it goes quite swiftly. 24 hours, you think? Okay. Should we come to standing? And I think we will just, I don't usually bring in many sun salutations, but I think we will this morning, just to get warm. It wasn't entirely what I was intending to do, but let's just keep getting warm. Okay, let's just start with some movement in the fingers, and let's move the toes around, and then bring in a little bit of a roll around, shoulders all the way through. Just see how it's feeling. You're feeling a bit stiff, a bit tight somewhere. Move the neck, head, start feeling the hips moving. You can take any movement you like. You can move it around, move the feet, move the legs, just kind of give a bit of shake around through the body, warming up. Good. And bring that slowly back to stillness as well. When I say stillness, keep it on the toes and just keep a little lift on the toes, rolling over the feet and lifting up. Okay, let's start bringing the arms into it, and we'll come up and pause and down and then lift it up and down. Then how about challenging yourself a bit further as you bring it down, bring the toes up and then up. Last one and down. Good. Lovely. Let's take the arms around behind you, interlock the fingers. Reach the arms away from you. Let the chest lift up. You can tuck the chin in. If you feel super comfortable, let the face come up. At the same time, just see what's going on in the lower back. See if the bottom's pushing away from you, or if you can gently draw the hip bones up towards the rib cage. Good. And release. And let's take a curl all the way down towards the floor. Lovely. So keeping the hands on the fronts of the shins if they don't quite touch the floor. Okay, if you've got some support there, take support from the floor or from the legs. Bend the knees, try not to hang out of the lower back. Lovely. Let's slide the heels of the hands halfway up. So the base of the wrist comes all the way up to underneath that kneecap. So it kind of stops there. And then lengthen the spine away. Draw the belly back. Keep the knees slightly bent. And as you lift the bottom away, you get more of an engagement in the back of the thighs. Good. And then fold it down, soften the knees, tuck the chin in. Good. And then roll yourself all the way up. Now push the feet to the floor. Fingertips come up along the thighs. Squeeze the glutes, draw the bottom in as you roll yourself up. And lift yourself all the way up to the sky. Good. And then step up to the front of the mat. Lovely. And curl once more all the way down to the floor. Lovely. Come up into that half lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana, and fold yourself down. And so let's step the right knee back. Knee goes to the floor. Good. Tuck the hips slightly under. Let's take the left arm up to the sky. Lift and open. Lovely. Now just see what's happening with that bottom shoulder, that right shoulder. Have you collapsed slightly into it, or can you lift up and open? Lovely. Take the left hand down to the floor. Good. Tuck the right toe under and step back to your plank if you're happy to. If you'd rather not come onto the hands, then keep the knees on the floor or come onto the elbows. Lovely. Gently again, once more, you're here. You're going to balance here for a little. Draw the belly slightly back so it feels like you're lifting in the lower back. And then drop the knees down. If you're taking chaturanga, go ahead. Belly down to the floor. Keep the head tucked in. Now just lift the hands, hover them off the floor beside you, underneath the shoulders, and draw the belly gently once more away from the floor. So it feels like you're pressing the hips down and the tops of the feet down. And maybe the chest lifts slightly, maybe it doesn't, but just with the action of drawing the belly away. And then let it come down and come back to child's pose for a moment. Let the hands slide with you. Stretch the arms away. Walk the hands across to the right side. You can ground the left hand and take the right hand over the top of it. It's a little bit of length out of the left side of the body. back to center, and all the way across to the other side. And once more as well, you can ground the right hand and put the left on top, or the other way around if you prefer. Good. And then bring it all the way back to center. Uncurl yourself onto all fours. Tuck the toes. You may want to take the hands a little bit further in front. That's entirely up to you. Tuck the toes and come into a gentle bear crawl here. So the knees hover off the floor if you can. Take the hips all the way back to the heels, as far back as you can. So you've got the knees off the floor if possible, and then lift the bottom up to the sky. So the spine stays long throughout that. Good. And then from there, look up to the hands and step the right foot forward, drop the left knee to the floor. Good. Gently curl the pelvis, tilt it slightly up towards the rib cage and take the right hand up to the sky. And rotate again through the rib cage. You can look up to the sky if that helps. Feels nice. Take the hands back down to the floor and careful of that front knee if it's still feeling a bit cold, stepping the left foot to the right foot. Standing forward, bend and uncurl all the way up to the sky. Feeling a little bit warmer on that right side, hands to heart. And again to the left side. So inhale, lift the arms, and exhale, fold yourself forward. Or curl, or float, whichever works. Good. Half rise, lift and lengthen. Good. Exhale, fold. Good. Left foot steps all the way back. Knee to the floor. Plant the left hand, uncurl to the right side. Left hand on the floor. That's it. Uncurl that way. So right foot's down if possible. That's it. Great. Lovely. And then take it down and step back to your plank. Good. And again, it's pause in plank. If you need to drop down, slightly drop down. Lower the hips a little bit. That's it. Lengthen the heels away. So crown of the head to the heels, lengthen away. Great. Drop the knees, chest, everything comes down. You're doing chaturanga, feel free to move through there. And inhale. Now, hands just hover rather than coming into a massive cobra. Draw the belly away and see if that action of lifting the belly towards the spine has the effect of just engaging the upper back muscles, engaging the glutes. Pop the tops of the feet on the floor. See if you can push those down to the floor, and that kind of creates a bit more support for the lower back. And exhale, bring it down. Push back to child's pose. Good. Settle in child's pose. We're going to walk the hands across to the right side again. Pause yourself there for a moment. Lovely. Reaching out to the left side of the body. And then you're going to walk them back to center. And take it to the other side. Good. Pausing. And then all the way back to center. Lovely. Plant the hands out in front of you. Tuck the toes under. Lift the knees, hover. Let the bottom come as low as you can. So the bottom's going as far back to the heels as possible. And lift through the hips to come and lengthen the legs out. Good. Lengthen yourself away. Drop the head so you're in downward facing dog here. Lovely. Super. Good. Take the feet as wide as the mat. Okay, so a little variation here. Take the feet nice and wide. Good. And then we're going to take the right foot and slide it gently around the front of the left leg. Just wrap it around a little bit so you've got a bit of length coming out of the left hip, left leg. And then take that right foot back to the right hand side of the mat and shift the weight across so the left leg comes around the front. It doesn't matter if it's too much of the calf, just pop the toes on top of the other toes. That's it. And bring that left foot to the left side of the mat. Good. Walk the feet back to a hip distance apart. Good. Look up towards the front of the mat and step the left foot forward and drop the right knee down. As you come and lift the left arm up to the sky, remember to slightly engage and lift through with the hips so that the bottom isn't left or the lower back isn't left. dipping around. Lovely. Lift up to the sky with those left fingertips. Good. Watch out what's happening with the front knee. Has it kind of collapsed out to the side as the foot rolled out? Just be aware. Lovely. Take the left hand down. Frame the front foot. Hop up onto the back foot and little hops. Gently bring it forward. Curl yourself all the way back up to standing. And open the heart. Good. And the hands all the way back down to the heart. Good. And come and pause for a moment. Just notice if you feel a little bit warmer or if there's still areas that need to move. We're going to do one more round with a few other bits just to make sure. Okay. So yeah, any problems with shoulders, just don't come onto elbows. Yeah, knees. Let's take the arms up to the sky. Okay, so it's up to you if you want to then kind of curl and float, or if you want to soften the knees and come with a flat back and fold yourself that way. So it's entirely whatever works best for your back. Fingertips down towards the floor, lift and lengthen, half rise, and fold it forward. Good, we're just gonna walk the fingertips across to the outside of the left foot to keep the head tucked in if you can. Good, and take the fingertips back to center. And take the fingertips around to the outside of the right foot. And back to center. Good, once more half rise, lift and lengthen, draw the belly back. Notice now as you keep doing this, how you can engage so that you support the lower back so you're not hauling yourself up. You're using glutes in front of the body. Lovely, fold yourself down again. Good, now let's take the right foot around the back of the left so we're in folded flamingo. So we got the fingertips on the floor or on the front of the leg. That's a bit more balanced, but you could use a block as well. So you could have your block in front if the fingertips don't quite make the floor. And let's just take a little folded flamingo. Right toes wrap around the back of the left heel. Good, just a little bounce just to warm up the foot and take that right foot down and switch. So you're just asking that foot to balance and notice how one foot is happy to settle a bit more quickly than another. And then take both feet back down to the floor. Great, let's step the right foot all the way back. Now, this is entirely up to you. If you feel you're at a stage where you can take the back foot off, knee off the floor, do so. Otherwise, drop the back knee down. And you can rotate, take the left arm once more up to the sky. Now, as you do that, make sure you haven't collapsed through the hips here. You want to keep the right heel. So even if the knee's on the floor, just work out what's going on. You want to send that right heel away from you, lengthen the spine. That's it. And rotate and take it all the way back down. So it's coming from here rather than here. I'm just going to ask you to keep me on the floor and I'll come. Okay, this time around. Lovely. And then lovely. Drop the right knee down. Sorry, we're keeping the right knee, left foot forward at the moment. Good. You're going to plant the left hand and rotate the other side. Good. And take it round and down. Good. Frame the left toes and take the hips back so that, sorry, drop the right knee if you haven't already and take the toes up to the sky. Good, draw that left hip back. Good. So let's move a little bit there. Bring the foot to the floor and the hip forward and take the foot back. That's it. Move gently through that. Notice tightness through the hip flexor, back of the thigh. Okay, let's take the hip back, open out the back of the leg gently. Let's rotate the foot, the back of the knee and the hip. So making sure they all go in one place. Let's just take the awareness to the back of the knee and rotate it side to side like a lighthouse. You're flashing your torch, your beam side to side. Good. Bring that back to center and bring that forward. Good. Take the hands to the inside of the left leg. Lovely. Pause for a moment. Good. Pick the back foot up. Back knee up, sorry. Not foot. Back knee. And step, if you can, back to your plank. Now, if you need to come down to your elbows, come down to your elbows as we pause in plank. Good. Just pausing for a moment. Lovely. So you're in your planks, the hips are lower. That's it. And then bring the knees down and chest down. Good. Take the hands to the bottom. Can you take both palms to the lower, to the back or the bottom? Good. Same thing as we were doing earlier. Draw the belly away. See if you can push the tops of the feet into the floor and see if that action can bring and lift the chest. So you're using the upper back. Good. Into cobra. Great. Open the shoulders. Really allow the shoulders to spread and open at the front. And exhale. Bring it down. We're going to do that one more time. Just inhale. Draw the belly back. Exhale, draw the belly back further, maybe. Good. And release it down. Hands under shoulders. Lift, push back into downward facing dog. So to come back into downward facing dog, remember, think about what we just did in the last one. You tuck the toes, take the heels back, lift the knees and lift up. So it's not a kind of like a hauling yourself up through the shoulders, okay? Let's drop the knees and bring yourself back to child's pose. Good. Walk the hands across to the right side. Pause. And bring it back to center and walk them across to the left. Good. And pause. And bring it back to center. Good. And then tuck the toes under, lift the knees, let the hips stay low. And then push the feet away to lift the hips. And walk the feet around to where it's comfortable in your downward facing dog. Good. Okay, so here, just let's bend the right knee and turn the chest and the face to the left side underneath the left armpit. And then bring yourself back to center, bend the right knee. So quite deep bend in the right knee, a little rotation underneath the right armpit. And bring yourself all the way back to your center. Lovely. Look up towards the hands, maybe step the right foot forward. Good. Now, if you want to drop the back knee, drop it down. If you kept the knee up, maybe have another round with that. So if you've got the knee up and you take the right arm up to the sky, you really want to engage through the lower back, the glutes. You want to draw the hip bones up towards the rib cage so that you've got stability in the lower back and in the pelvis. Drop that hand. Take the right hand to the center, inside the leg, and take the left arm up. So that right shoulder should be gently pushing against the knee and the knee pushing gently against the shoulder. Lovely. Take that hand all the way down. Good. And we're going to step the left foot forward. Good. And uncurl all the way. So careful as you uncurl if the knees are feeling a bit stiff. Lift up and open. We're going to go straight down to the other side. Curl it or float it, whichever works for you, all the way forward and down. Good. Lift up and lengthen halfway and fold. Lovely. Okay, let's pause for a moment there. Grab a block if you need it to balance with. We're going to take the left foot and tuck it around the back of the right ankle, sort of baby flamingo. That's it. You need to balance with a book. If the hands don't quite balance on the floor, use that. Just notice how the foot tries to find stability. And then bring the foot down and take the right foot around the back. Now, does it throw you off if you tuck the chin in? Good. And bring that all the way back to the floor. Good. Let's pause for a moment there and walk the fingertips around to the right side of the foot, outside edge to the right. Good. And scoop them back to center and across to the other side. Lovely. Keep the knees soft if the hands don't quite touch the floor. In fact, keep them soft anyway. Back to center. And take the left foot all the way back. So same thing. If you're finding it's kind of rotating you from the lower back, please drop the knee. Otherwise, push on that front foot. Make sure the knee and the ankles stay pretty much in line. Take the right arm up. Draw the right hip in. Make a conscious effort to draw that right hip back in. Lovely. Take the hand down. Take it to the inside of the leg and take the left arm up to the sky. Good. quite a balance. Just be aware of where you're throwing your shoulder. How about, I'm just gonna pause for a minute here and take that hand that's gone up to the sky, so that'll be your right hand, take it down to the shoulder and lift the elbow, okay? So you take it down to the shoulder, lift the elbow, then extend the arm, and notice what a different place that's possibly put your arm in, rather than kind of going all the way back and pulling on your rotator cuff and your pecs, okay? So just be aware of where your arm goes when you come into things like this. Let's drop the hand, drop that's it. Hands down, drop the knee. Back knee goes down, and you're gonna lift the front toes. So right toes go up, forward and back a few times. Ease through the hamstring, front of hip, inside of the leg. Good, bring it all the way back, and let's find your rotation from out of the hip to the heel. So you imagine you're moving it from the back of the knee, one side to the other. Good. Bring that back to center and lift yourself through so you can step back to your plank, and we're going to pause in plank. Good. Lovely. If you need to move down to your elbows, please do. Lovely. And then either lower chaturanga to the floor or drop the knees. Good. And let's take the hands to the lower back, bottom. So it can help to really feel the glutes if you take the actual palms of the hands onto the bottom. And then you draw the belly away. You can feel the engagement of the glutes as the chest rises. So you're using the back muscles there. Push the tops of the feet into the floor. Good. How about looking down towards the floor so we're not squishing through the neck vertebrae? And exhale, lower it down. We'll take that one more time. And again, gently squeeze, draw it back. Use the glutes. Use the pelvis. Good. And support the lower back. And lower it all the way back down. Good. And then push back to downward dog. Now again, watch how you push back. Have you gone straight into the shoulders? Can you take the hips back? Good. Lovely. And we're going to come down to child's pose. Good. Set the hips back on the heels. Just lengthen the arms out in front of you. Walk the hands across to the right. Good. Back to center. And take them across to the other side. And back to center. Lovely. Now, plant those hands. Tuck the toes. Keep the chin tucked into the throat. And let the toes kind of push down to the floor so the knees start to lift off the floor. So you're in a gentle bear crawl. Push the floor away so that you uncurl the hips to the sky. And this long spine doesn't really change position. Good. Walk the feet slightly. Lift one heel. Lift the other heel. Okay. Lovely. Look up towards the hand. Step the left foot forward. Either drop the back knee or pop it. Leave it up in the sky. And again, when we take the left arm up, how about we take the left hand to the shoulder as you rotate? And then uncurl and try not to let the elbow throw itself backwards, because there's no extra gain from that, as I should say. If you've got the knee off the floor, you want to lengthen that right heel away so you feel the length, and you drawing the left hip back in towards the midline. Good. Take that left hand down. Now, if you need to put the knee on the floor, back knee on the floor, do. Left hand goes inside. And again, right hand goes to the right shoulder. Lift the elbow and then lift the arm. Find your balance if you've got the knee off the floor. So the left hand is on the inside of the knee, shoulders pushing against the knee. Lovely. And take it down. Good. And then push, set the right leg forward. Hop it forward. Brilliant. And uncurl. And lift it all the way up. So soften those knees, support the lower back. And roll the shoulders. Good. Yeah. Okay, so if you've got no issues in the neck, we'll take a little figure of 8. I really ought to add, and I don't always say every week, but I will say this time is please be aware if you've got any issues in the neck, any rheumatoid, anything, little neck circles are not good for you. Okay, so best not to do them, and we'll do something else, but that's tell me. Okay. I really recommend these only if the neck is fine. So if you place the hands on the chest to do this, it's quite nice because it sort of supports the skin onto the fascia onto the breastbone and supports the neck a bit more. Let's just take it back the other way. So hopefully everyone's feeling a little bit warmer. Maybe not for you guys at home, but let's bring it back to center. And pause. Let's grab yourself a book, or actually a book's probably a bit heavy, or a thin light book, or a block, or a pen, or a glasses case, whatever you've got. Okay, so we're going to do teacups, and I'm going to add something to it, which is my Christmas special. Which is really fun, and it's a balance as well. Okay, so let's just start with, you can imagine what it is. It's only one way to balance. Okay, so let's start with the wrist moving, and then a bit more elbow, a bit more shoulder. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to take my jumper off as I've warmed up. And then we're going to, okay, so keep that moving any way you want, and we're just going to come onto a balance. Okay, if you want to bring that into a gentle tree, feel free. So what I've done is it's the same hand. So for me, sorry, whichever side you're doing it, it's the same leg, same hand that's moving. So the hand that's moving is the leg that's supporting you. And then we will switch it, so don't worry if you started the other way. Okay, so can you start to get a bit braver? This is a tree that has a bit of storm barrow left in it. Okay, bring it back to center and keep it in the same hand, keep it moving. Take your tree to the other side. See if there was a moment of confusion in the brain or another thought slipped in. Perhaps it helps to bring your awareness back to that point between the nostrils and the upper lip. So you still need your concentration here. You still need your stability. You still need your Sita-like poise. If the foot doesn't quite want to go against the leg, just take it down to the ankle. Good. You move it around. Lovely. And bring that all the way back to center. Release the leg. Switch it to the other side. Let's just start with teacups on this side. And then the arm that's moving, keep that leg standing. So it's probably the same leg that went up before. See if it changes the whole dynamic in the body. See what happens or not. Maybe you feel really quite comfortable doing it like this. You start to get a little bit braver. Okay. And keep the arm moving and try and keep the brain focused on that, or the mind focused on that, and switch the legs over. Is there much thought about how that's going to work? Good. And bring that slowly back to center. And we'll plant the block in front of you. You may need a chair or a wall here. So please, if you've got one in front of you, use it. We're going to soften. We're going to go back to that first leg. I'm going to soften the left knee. And was that the first one? Doesn't matter which one. And just see if we can take that foot slightly on top of the knee. If it doesn't want to go, take it further down. Okay. So it's a rotation. So you bring it forward and rotate it. Okay. Take the hands to the top of that leg. Soften the knee, the standing knee. And sit the bottom just gently to where it feels comfortable coming down. Now, if you need to hold on to something in front, do so. If you're comfortable to take your fingertips to your block, do so. If that's enough and the balance and it feels quite tricky, please don't go any further. But make sure the standing leg bends. It feels like you're sitting into your chair. Brilliant. Lovely. Push the floor away to rise up and uncurl. And bring that knee forward and take it down. Bring the other knee up, rotate it out. So just placing it where it feels comfortable. Get your balance here. Hold on to the knee and the foot. That helps. Okay, so it's not on the inside. It's on front of the leg where possible. That's it. Hold the leg as you start to sit the bottom back down. If you've got tweaking in the knee, I recommend taking the leg a little bit lower. Okay. If you can, sit yourself down. If you feel you're going to use the block, use the block. If you feel you've got further to go, you can go to the floor. Good. Lovely. And then push the floor away to rise up. Good. Take the feet. Really good. And let's take the feet to hip distance. And just come and stand for a moment. Just noticing how that feels. And very, very slowly start with a sway side to side. Easing out sides of the hips. Noticing what's going on in the knees, ankles. A little sideways sway. And let's find our way underwater. And just feel like you can find those figures of 8, but it's almost like you're being pushed by a tide. So there's this gentle swaying underneath. And notice how you can move around the feet, not the hips are not leading this. Remember, it's a figure of 8. The feet upwards are moving you. And perhaps there's a sense of that kind of just being moved around. You know, when you stand in water, that when the sand is probably shifting underneath, you've got another low wave crashing at you, and you kind of have to find your balance as you do it, because that happens in order to stay upright. Now let's take our awareness as you do this to the top of the tip of the nose, top of the upper lip. See what a calming, maybe not, or slowing down effect. And let's rotate, take it back. Now, if you're new to this and you don't want to take it back the other way, just stay going one way. Or just rotate, slide yourself back along the other way. Keeping, if you can, your awareness really focused. You're doing this now for 6 weeks, if you're new to it. Much longer otherwise. Just notice the effect this has on the whole body, on the nervous system. Are the legs shaking a little bit? Can you feel that gentle pushing from one foot to slide you up to the big toe of the other foot? And then a sort of yield as you go around. And then a gentle pushing off the next foot back to the first foot, to the big toe. And then around. Okay. And let's gently bring that all the way back to center. Good. And let's turn, if you're all up at the top of the mat, it's just me. So stepping your way back up to the top of the mat. Lovely. We're going to curl yourself down once more. All the way down, take the hands to the floor and take the left knee alongside the right ankle. Okay. So we're down on the floor. Good. Fingertips kind of tented in line with the front right foot. Tuck the chin right in. Try not to look up. And push through that front right foot. Lift up to the sky. So the hips lift, pushing through the front right foot. So you're into pyramid pose here. Keep the chin tucked in, lengthening as much as possible through the back heel. Now draw that right hip backwards slightly. Good. And soften the knee to go back beside the inner ankle or inner heel. And lift again. Uncurl. And down. Now here you may want to grab your block before we come up into the last one. So pop the block up by the front foot. Or chair, you can use chair. Lift those hips, draw that right hip back. Now I'm going to take the block and put it up inside my right foot. Take the right hand, push down, left hand goes to lower back. Now here, just lift and lengthen towards the toes of the right foot. So keep yourself lengthened. Left elbow heads up towards the sky. So keep the hand on the lower back, but slide it up towards you so that it rotates the whole chest to the left-hand side. Good. Lift and lengthen loud. While you're here, see if you can turn the face to the side so that you completely rotate the whole chest. So it's not the head turning, it's the chest lifting and opening to the side. Good. Lovely. Lengthen the belly away from you. Lengthen the pelvis so you get a little something possibly in the back of the legs. Lovely. If you want to, you can keep the left elbow where it is and lift that left arm up to the sky. But really so that it's kind of like a straight line between the shoulders. There's no pushing backwards. Fingertips are right above the right foot. And take the hand to the shoulder, drop the elbow, rotate the chest back to the front, both hands to the block or the floor, and then drop it down. Drop the hands to the floor to do that as well. And sink yourself down. Good. Switch the legs around. So other side, left foot in front, have the block nearby. Fingertips tented alongside that front foot. Tuck the chin in, uncurl. Try and keep the chin tucked in the entire time. And down. And uncurl. Keep that head going down as the hips come up. And down. And last one, uncurl. Good. Take the block to the inside. Left fingertips to the block. Okay. Right hand to lower back. Now push through the feet and lengthen yourself towards the top of the mat. Good. Going to open that right shoulder to the side and let the face join it. Right hand is still on the lower back if you can. So the elbow's just kind of going up the spine. Now you draw that right hand up the spine so the elbow starts to come up over the shoulder. And then you can take the hand onto the shoulder and then uncurl. So be really aware as you take that right fingertip up to the sky that it hasn't thrown itself backwards, that you've got yourself in this really lovely position. Now, maybe you can just look down at the foot and just feel your way then through back up to the sky, maybe. Now, notice how that throws you off balance. Take the top hand down to the shoulder, drop the elbow, rotate the body, fingertips down, and curl yourself back down to the floor. Good. Take both knees together, hands on the floor. Draw the belly gently, lengthening the tailbone away from the crown of the head, and then soften the belly. Let's not hold any tension there. And curl the spine, rounded into cat. Pause in cat. And then turn the tailbone away and open the chest. That's it. So when you open the chest, see if you can feel that lengthen through the belly. And then curl into cat. One last time. And then move it the other way into your cow. Good. Lovely. And bring it all the way back to your all fours. So we're going to take from here, let's take the right shoulder to the right hip and the right hip to the right shoulder. So you're just kind of getting a little squeeze in that right waist. And not just a squeeze in the right waist, we're getting a lengthening in the left waist. And bring it back to center. And then take it to the other side. Notice if one side's a bit stiffer than the other. And bring it back to center. And we're going to take our bird dog and hip movement. So left leg, right arm. Palm of the hand can turn towards the midline. It's a bit kinder on the shoulder. Turn it in. That's right. Great. Lovely. Lengthen it away. Draw the belly gently to support you. Good. Now let's turn the toes down towards the floor. Good. And then point the toes away. Good. If you've got a block and you'd like to squeeze it between the back of the heel, the calf and the thigh, do so. Otherwise, you don't need to. You can do this without that. I'm just going to bend the sole of the foot up to the sky. Okay, now if you find that really hard on a wrist or just too much balance, take the right hand back down to the floor. Otherwise, maybe see if you can do this. Just a few, just 5 little squeezes with the glute. Just sole of that foot going up to the sky. Good. And then take the knee down. Lovely. Take it out behind the foot and just go straight to the other side. And we first of all take your bird dog. Left hand, right leg. Lovely. See if you can stay facing the floor. Face kind of so the back of the neck isn't getting squished again. Now can you reach around, put the block in the back of the calf and the thigh, back of the knee. Gentle squeeze. And find 5 little squeezes. Lift the knee slightly, lengthen it away. And bring that knee down if it's got the block in it. See if you can keep it in until the knee gets down. And then release it away. Good. Move the hips around in a really nice circle. And we'll stretch the right heel away from you. So right toes tuck under and lengthen out. And then you're going to bring that right foot through and around. So just be aware of obviously the knee here. If that's too much, settle the hips back. We're going to do it a couple of times. Bring it forward. Now, this is the one that you slide the foot around and you really watch the shifts in the hips. So you want to try and take it as slow as you can to avoid too much moving around in the hips and the lower back as you do this. Does that make sense? Yeah. And last time, bring it up and around. When I say last time, there is one more to do. Third one, bring it around the front and settle it back. Good. Okay. Now we're going to bring that forward. First with that right knee, you're going to slide it away, up and away, so it comes behind the right wrist. Those of you who prefer to take pigeon, we'll come to the other side in a minute, don't we? Those of you who prefer to take pigeon on your back, flip over onto your back and take your right knee, your right foot on top of the left knee. Otherwise, just going to stay here for a moment. If you're happy to do pigeon. Okay, good. So if you're up on your hands, let's take a half movement. We've done this before to the right, to that side. Yes, the right side. So you're just kind of keeping the eyes on the horizon. So what you can find is that left hip sort of lengthens and stretches. If you've got any tightness there left over from something this week, you'll feel it. And bring it back to center. Okay, and again. So if you're on your back, make it a little bit active for yourself. Rather than just kind of settling there, make sure that you've got, last little circle of the side. You're just making sure that you've got both little dimples on the floor, that you haven't dropped to one side. So you keep thinking rather than just settling and thinking about the rest of the day. Keeping your awareness in that. Bring it back to center, everyone on their backs and on your fronts. And we're going to plant the hands, tuck the pelvis, and bring that foot all the way back up onto all fours again. Circle it around. So we're just doing a bit more of an active pigeon today. And then take the left foot, head the heel away from you, tuck the toes under. Lovely. Now set the hips so that you're aware one side is definitely going to move more than the other. So you want to be aware of that and see what you can do to limit it so that we bring stability to both sides of the body and pick it up and take it around. Notice this as you move that hip, that leg around, and obviously the hip may not want it. And if it's too much to keep moving the hip around, just pause, or just take the foot to the knee like we've done before. And then we're going to take one more of these. Good. Last time around the front. Settle it back. Pause for a moment. And then we're going to bring it forward and take that right knee behind. Sorry, is it the left knee, is it? Behind the left wrist. Yeah, left knee, sorry. Mirror you. Okay, so those of you who need to hop onto your back for this side, please do. Set yourself up in a nice pigeon on your front, if that's where you are. Come up onto fingertips. Eyes on the horizon. And take a couple of these. So you're lengthening out of the front of the opposite hip. Okay, and back to center. So it's like a, what is it, a quarter turn. But you could possibly feel, if you've got a bit of stiffness there, all the way up the side of the body. Such a great one if you're feeling a bit kind of tight, a bit stiff, if you've been doing a lot of sitting. Good. So you let that right hip soften and lengthen down to the floor as you turn. Brilliant. Come back to center. And those of you who are on your back, if you wouldn't mind joining us back up on all fours. So those of you who've been in pigeon, draw that leg back. Let's come off the hands. Curl yourself up. Give the wrists a shake if you need to, if they're feeling a little bit tight. Okay. Hands to the lower back. And again, hips to rib cage. So we haven't got any of that going on. And lengthen and open the chest. So anyone who's used to doing camel, please feel free to feel like if you want to lift a little bit more at the front and find a bit more of back bend, please feel free. But you know, it can be a lot for back. So just go easy on that. And we haven't practiced this one. So this is kind of like my crescendo pose because we've done a lot of lovely back work, a lot of lovely hip work. So we're squeezing the glutes and lifting it. It doesn't matter if you don't go back. What we're doing is we're trying to keep the knees, so almost like you've got a wall. This is a really good one to practice in front of a wall. You have your thighs pushed up against your wall and you're just lifting and opening. And it's, you know, when you've eaten too much, this is great. Lift and open. Broaden across the chest. If you're super comfy here, you can lift the gaze to the sky, but otherwise keep it full. Lovely. So this has got your cobra, it's got back bend, it's got a front opener, it's got thigh strengthener, and obviously the further you go, the more you get out of this. And bring yourself up. So again, if you've got a tweaky low back, it's not a great one to go too far back to begin with anyway, because you can, as you lift back up, it's really easy to put too much into the low back. So just be careful, but it's such a nice opener. Let's sit the hips down. Just pause for a moment, just move the hips around. If you don't like sitting on your heels, sorry, come down to your bottom. Otherwise, just pause for a moment and just a little move around. Grab any blankets you've got. We're gonna come down to seated. Just ease that one off that's through the hips. If you need to sit on something, or if you've got cold hands, now's the time to put some gloves back on. You've done really well not to walk out so far. And let's bring the heels to the floor. My hands are like ice. Don't know anyone else. It's broken. Yeah, you missed the message. I know. Let's take the knees side to side. That's it. This is like teaching yoga in the 1980s, I can tell you. Church halls that were freezing because nobody wanted you there, and they wouldn't put the heating on for me. Not the 1980s, sorry, the 1990s even. So well, I was quite young in the 1980s. But I suspect it was the 1980s. But we'd all be in leotards. I know. Moving it around, do come and join us. Is it? Every week. Love it. He's very welcome to join. Okay, let's bring that back to center. We're going to take our half spinal twist this week. So lengthen the okay, those of you who are super confident at your half spinal twist, that right leg is going to tuck around you. Yeah, you're going to make space for both sides of the glutes, both bony bits. They're both on the floor, and you'll take your left leg over the top. Those of you who are not so confident, let's stretch the right leg out and take the left leg over the top. It means your left arm, so the leg that's over the top, the arm goes behind you, fingertips to the floor. Lift the spine and then rotate through the spine, through the upper spine, take the head with you. Lovely. Good. Lovely. Keep the eyes on the horizon. That's it. If your leg is out in front of you, flex it. That's it. Keep some engagement. Brilliant. Rotate yourself back to center. Take a little dip to that side. Other side, sorry. And back to center. Let's take the other one across. So find your way into it. Either tuck the leg all the way in. And remember, you're rotating upper back. Keep the eyes on the horizon. And notice if you're pulling the right leg, so that potentially you're pulling it a little bit too much through the lower back if you do that. If your foot's out in front, try and keep it flexed to the sky. Let's keep some engagement. And remember, if you think about drawing, if your foot's out in front, think about drawing the heel back into the hip. So you've kind of got the hip going into the heel and the heel going into the hip. So do you notice if you've got that, you're lifting yourself up a little higher. You've got that sense of engagement going through the whole body. So that's your strength and stability right there. Bring yourself back to center and give yourself a little twist. Gently to the other side. Okay, back to center. Stretch those legs out. Fingertips in towards you. Bend the elbows back and away. Now, we're not taking that arch that way. We've done a lot of that. So we're just going to counterpose that. Let the lower back soften and find that little bit of sort of hollow. So the elbows bend this way and let the hips lift a little bit. So that's it. Lovely. So now we're actually using upper arm and then push the floor away. Don't use the back to do it. Use the arms and a little bit down. Let the spine roll. We're going to do this one more time and then we'll roll it down to the floor. So maybe as you come up, have a little look at where your jumper, your gloves, your blanket is, all the way. And then if you can, take the elbows down and slide it away. Draw the heels in to the bottom. Little pelvic tilt, just making sure pelvis feels okay, lower back feels okay. One way, just literally rocking over the back of the bony bit. And when you're ready, push down on the floor, Let the pelvis slightly tilt upwards, tailbone heading away from you, and push the feet down and lift the hips into your lovely bridge pose. And roll it down. Let's place the hands on the chest. And this time you take a bridge pose, let the arms float up to the sky, a little bit perhaps behind the head. Now, is one side lifting more than the other? Just lift and lower a few times. Has one side of the glutes taken over? Is one foot taking over? Just see if you can even that up. Great. And lower it down for the last time. And settle yourself down. If you need to take anything, like a little twist on side to side, or you want to roll the head around a little bit, we're just going to take a short Shavasana. Be very welcome to sit up for it. Make sure you're not going to get cold. If you need a blanket, we're not here for long at all. If you can slip straight into your breath, that is perhaps sense of the tip of the nose, tip of the nose and upper lip. That would be good. So you're going to have access to some of these practices over Christmas if you want them. I'm going to try and upload them to YouTube or put them somewhere. And so you'll have some of these practices obviously have more breathing work in them. I'll put up a separate one as well so you can access what you need to. But just for a moment, just for the next 2 minutes, let's take ourselves off somewhere. Let's go and lie on the floor of a wood, a forest. So it's really cozy and warm in all the dry leaves that are around you. Perhaps you can smell the smells of a wood, that earthy smell as the body sinks down. Just settling in. No rush, no hurry to do so, but in your own time. Feeling your way into a sensation in all parts of the body. Considering perhaps that all parts of the body are connected. Perhaps the sensation that all the body parts are connected with lines of light. The whole body is connected by webs of fascia or chakras, or just where the body meets each other. But if it's neither of those, perhaps you just like to imagine yourself lying in this bed of the forest, connected with a whole web of lights all around the body. No restrictions, just connection. And all the trees standing around you as ancestors, people in your life that support you. And as you're lying here on the floor of the forest, deep in the undergrowth, there's so much going on. And all the little creatures and all the plants, perhaps also humming and glowing like you, little lines of light, of connectedness of their own bodies. But notice when you look around that those lines of light and that little distinct hum is all connected. You can't distinguish one from the other. And the same with your own body like that. Just connected to the forest floor of everything that's going on around. Like every part of you is connected and related to every single thing that's going on around on the planet, through the air we breathe, through the land that we walk on. We can't help but be connected. And from this, there's one thing that take from your yoga sessions this time is the importance of rest, particularly as we come into a really busy time. The importance of, even if it's just a 2-minute rest, and focusing either on the breath or the connectedness, taking that time to recharge and replenish. And slowly begin to move before anyone gets too cold. Just stretching and releasing. Warming yourself up, waking yourself up. Rolling around and coming up to one side. And bringing yourself up to seated. Ready to start Thursday. Thank you. Turn the recording off. Thank you all so much for your coming this term. It's been an absolute joy.